episode of Groovi Tuesday. My name's Paul Church here in the UK from Clarity Stamp here in the UK. That's a good start, isn't it? Can't even get my words the right way around. But nobody's watching it, so I think I was safe on that. Should we have a rewind and start again? Good morning. Welcome to another episode of Groovi Tuesday. My name's Paul Church from Clarity Crafts here in the UK. Welcome. I can see we've got some viewers. Hopefully we'll have some chat in a moment. There we go. Mo's first in. Good morning, Mo. Cloudy in Ripon, North Yorkshire this morning. We've had some rain. It's a little bit fresh here in Edenbridge, but the sun is currently shining. So, yeah, who knows what's going to happen. Each day is a different day, isn't it, when it comes to the weather? So, anybody else joining you today? Oh, there comes Bernie. Good morning, Bernie. Clive, good morning, Clive, for a very wet Swindon. Mr. Ken, happy Groovi Tuesday. It's lovely to here we come. Everyone's coming. All of a sudden, you just go blub, 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 and it'll all come up. So I hope everybody's well. Looking forward to another session today. That should be my Sue. Sue is in the room with you, Clarity Sue. She who deals with all of your club memberships and also answers the phones now and deals with any queries you may have. So if you've got any questions and you're not sure, you can always give the office a call, and Sue's always there to help. Who else have we got in the room this morning? So we've got Karen, Jenny from Melbourne. Who else? Jane, Lisa Shackleton, Alison Telford. So no design team members just yet, or have I missed them already? I'm sure there will be. There we go. As if on cue. Good morning, Jane. Yes, it's good to have your company for another episode 103. And we're going to continue that lovely journey with the Leafy frame. So, and last week we had some top tips, didn't we, on sort of colouring with the Dorso oils. So I thought we'd continue with the Dorso crayons. It wasn't colouring with the oils wouldn't do anything. But I think we'll start off our usual morning session with our weather reports, and everybody's coming in with them. Everyone seems to be a mixed bag today. So what else have we got? We've got sunny and breezy in Nottingham from Deborah. Rainy in Cardiff from Susan. So it's a real mixed bag today, isn't it, of weather, all higgledy-piggledy. But I'm not sure whether I heard right or not. I think they said it's going to start to get warmer again towards the end of the week, early next week. I think the hot weather's meant to be coming back. So, yeah, voice feels a little bit, not sore, but just very quiet today. Don't know why. Tuesday. No ideas. So it's raining in Fife. Margaret Jeffrey. Good morning, good morning, good morning. So everybody's sort of all starting to come in now. I've had the all clear from Sue, so hopefully you can hear, well, I know you can hear me. Yeah. So should we have a bit of a recap on what we've been doing over these last 4 episodes using the Leafy frame. So this is where we were heading. We put this on, this was one of the lovely poetry plates that I decided to go with, and we put it on as a design of the week. There's the lovely Josie. Good morning, Josie. And I thought we'd have a look at this, and we'd also tie it in with the one that we worked with previously, which is Jane's rose and lattice plate. So we had a look, didn't we, on how we could sort of make the frame smaller. We could go with the size that it was, but it's great because you can go landscape, portrait, landscape again. Would it work that way? I think it does, doesn't it? Yeah, that sort of works. So it works in all different directions. So it's a really useful plate. And in addition, you have that lovely sentiment in there as well, don't you? So what we did was, for those of you that, have we got any newbies in today? Anybody tuning in for the first time? Come on, hands up if you are. So what we did, we had a look at, fingers and thumbs. We had a look at making it smaller. Then I decided to go with the plate exactly how it came. Added in Jane's Rose from the Rose and Lattice plate. We do have a newbie. Good morning, Susan. And where are you from? Whereabouts in the world, the country? Because we have everybody worldwide. We have Australia, we have the USA, Europe, all over. So we decided to go with Jane's Rose. Then we added in the poem. And then last week we was having a play with the, so Susan is from Wenvo near Cardiff. Cardiff? Or put your teeth back in. Cardiff. It's going to be one of those days today. Welcome. So welcome to the Groovi Tuesday bus journey. Yeah. I was going to say something then, but it's gone. Definitely got a bit of brain fog today. I don't know why. Definitely some fog. Anyway, I digress. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Anybody else that's new, welcome to the party as well. And then what we did last week, let me take some coloured paper. This might be a bit better. Let's go for, let's see what colour will work on this. Let's have a look. No, that one's no good. Hang about, he says. That'll do. Let's take a piece of our companion paper, because white doesn't really show it up, but black just makes it look flat. So what we did last week, we was having a play with the Dorso crayons, and we tried a couple of different ways of applying it to the parchment, especially in sort of detailed areas like the leaves. Let me sort of zoom in a little bit so we can sort of see that. Oh, we've also got Andrea McEwen as well. Andrea's new. Excellent. Right, let me zoom in. Which way am I going? I'm going that way. Coming nice and slowly. So ladies, all our lovely newbies, where did you find us? How did you find us? Was you just through Facebook? Was it through YouTube? Was it through Create and Craft? That'd be lovely to find out. Okay. So last week we was looking at the Dorso crayons and different ways. Normally with the Dorso crayons, you tend to use for larger areas, and in the past I've been tending to concentrate more on the pencils, but I thought, you know what, there's lots of lovely colours in these Dorso crayons, and they work in the same sort of way as the B pencils that come in the pergoliners, but it's easier for large areas, and I thought, well, we can definitely use them in smaller areas. So what we did, this frame that I created, we tried a couple of different ways of applying the colour. So this one, I'm glad I wrote my notes on it. This one is where I scribbled the crayon onto there and then blended with the blending nib to give me, to smooth it out with the oil. This one across the top was Dorso crayon and the oil on the mix mat. Then this one here was the oil on the parchment, and then the colour picked up with the blending pen and applied on the back. And then not Josie, apologies. Sure, it's Glynis. Yeah, it was Glynis. Said that you could take the blending pen to the crayon. And we had a look at the sort of the various different options, because, excuse me, sorry. When we have a look at the crayons, they're sort of like, they're rounded, aren't they? They're a lot, I mean, if I put that next to my finger now, you'll sort of see the size of it. Whereas with a pencil, it's a lot finer. And So it can sometimes be difficult to get this into smaller areas. So this is where the mix mats come into play, and we can scribble out and then blend our colours together, and then use the blending pen to pick it up and apply. Okay, so we had a real good session with that, and I really enjoyed it last week, and sort of just having a play, seeing what we can do. And we had a little bit of a vote, didn't we, to see which one people preferred, what the application. Initially, before Glynis told us about the pen to the crayon, that was my sort of option. I think it was the mix mat with the blending. So I thought what we could do now is we can transfer what we looked at last week and apply it to our piece of artwork that we've created, not only just on the leaves, but also on the rose as well. It's lovely to have so many newbies in the room today. It really is, because I think sort of Clarity's always been about education. That's been the heart of Barbara and that's sort of the business. And we have annual retreats, we have our open days, and it's all about sort of sharing the knowledge. And things like this, at the Facebook Lives, whether it be the Shack on a Monday with Barbara, Groovi Tuesday with myself on a Tuesday, a moment of clarity, craft alongs. There's always the education there that you can, and it's all for free. If you're on Facebook, you can join Clarity Worldwide and Groovi Worldwide as well. All the design team are in the rooms. I'm always there to help. Never be afraid to ask a question. No question is ever a silly question. Well, there are some silly questions, no, but you know what I mean. It's a friendly, fun, happy place to be. So make sure all our lovely new friends who are joining us for the first time today, don't be afraid. Say hello, ask a question. Some of the ladies from the design team are in the room as well, as well as Sue from the office. So if you've got any questions, just ask away. I'll try and answer if I can. There we go. Sue's just popped the link up to sign up to our newsletter. Thank you, Sue. See, Sue's thinking ahead before I've even said it. Teamwork. And that will keep you informed of upcoming TV shows, special offers, events that we're having. And it's a great way just to keep in the know. Okay. So I thought what we would do is we'd have a look at colouring in as well. And I was also having a play. Tina was using these on TV the other day, our Pergamano gel pens. And I was having a bit of a play with those earlier. And there was a few things that I found that may be of interest, which we'll have a look at a little bit later during the course of the session. Okay. So I think we're ready to get going, don't you? So we're going to take our piece of artwork. So what are we going to need to start with? If you haven't got any of this, everything is available on our website. So we're going to take our piece of artwork. And if you are new today and you've missed out all of the previous episodes, don't worry, because you can go back and watch them. So you could go back to the episode of part 1 of this and see how we started. Very, very straightforward and very addictive. Okay. So what was the question from Lisa? Let me scroll down, up even, see if I can see what the question was from. Was it from Lisa? Is it from Bernadette? Bernadette, I have a pack of Pergamano stencil pastes. Will they work the same? I've no idea what the Pergamano stencil pastes are, because it's not something that we inherited when we bought Pergamano. So I'm sure some of our lovely design team members like Josie or Glynis or Jane may be familiar with that product, but I know it doesn't exist anymore, so I wouldn't be able to answer to say what that actually does. So I'm sure one of the ladies will be able to respond to that. I don't know whether it was the Dorso crayons in a tub format. Don't know. Okay, so we need our piece of artwork. Now, whatever I do with the crayons, you can also do with the Pergolina B pencils as well. So if you've got the Pergolina B pencils, what I'm about to do, you can do with those as well. Okay, so we need that. We need some Dorso oil. We need our blending pen, which is finally back in stock, thanks to Mr. Dave. All new packaging. We need a spot-on sponge. I'm going to use one that I was working with last week. Some extra nibs and a mix mat. Okay. Now, a mix mat is a piece of plastic that has some sort of like some texture to it. Okay. And what it means that when we scribble out, it gives the pencil or the crayon something to grip to. Okay, now there's two in the set. One says oil and the other one says water. Now they're exactly the same, but I know if I've put colour on this like I have, and I want to go back, I know that it would either be the B pencil or the crayons, because I've used oil to mix the colours together. If it was the water one and I've got colour on there, because this colour has been on there since last week, and I can go back and reactivate it. So if it was the water mix mat, then I know that it's water to be able to move the colour that's left on there. Okay. So we do a lovely, fantastic kit where you get the mix mats, you get your spot-on sponges, you get your Dorso oil, you get your double-ended eraser, you get some more nibs, and that's our Pergamano colouring accessories kit. So it's a real sort of good starting place. And then the only thing you need to buy in addition to that is a blending pen or 10. Okay, so that's what we're going to need for the session. Yeah, I think that's it. So I shall waffle on. What have I got to tell you about this week whilst you're getting all your bits together? So this week, we've got the lovely Tina Cox. Oh, sorry, that coffee went down the wrong hole. We've got the lovely Tina Cox on Create and Craft on Thursday for the Pergamano shows at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. Friday evening, there's a Moment of Clarity with Barbara at 7 o'clock live on Facebook and YouTube, exactly the same place where you are today. And that is using the treescape design, which will be available later this week, or later today, as our new design of the week. But don't worry, if you can't tune in live, you can always watch it afterwards, because all of the recordings are always kept on our YouTube page. So you can go back and you can spend days just going through, looking, watching, and enjoying. So Lorraine's going to be at work, so she's going to catch up on her break. So yeah, it'll be a good fun. So it's just about putting a design through its paces, whether it be stamping. And Barb did a fantastic little demo yesterday in the shack with the inks, the different types of distress inks and the distress oxides to apply some colour. So they're always, the moments of clarity are always full of top tips, tricks, hints, tips all over it. It really is. It's surprising what Barb can cram into such a short period of time. And you can go back and watch it again if you forget. So that's really what's on the horizon this week. So I think we should be good to get going, don't you? Okay. Who's doing this at the same time as me? Or does everybody watch and then come back afterwards? Watch it. Oh, I can't talk. I don't know. I have no idea what I just said, and I'm not going to rewind it. Okay. Right. So applying the colour, we're going to work on the back. Okay. And we also found out last week that the Dorso crayons work in the same way as the Pergamano B pencils, in that you can remove the colour if you go over the edge, or you make a mistake with the wrong colour. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do, see, because I like the nib to crayon effect, but I also like the mix mat and blending on the mix mat. So I'm going to do a mixture. Okay. So what I'm going to do, let's have a look. I'm going to scribble out some green onto my mix mat. And do I want to go a little bit darker? Let's have a look. So there's some lovely greens in the lively colour. See, that one's quite bright. Let's have a look at the colours. This one's more of a sort of sage green. And then you've got a sort of a real dark forest green. Undecided on which one to go for. So let's practice. I can see what colour I like first. Okay, and in order to do that, I'm going to do the pen to crayon technique. Okay, and I'm going to take my practice piece that I was playing on rather than go straight into my work. I mean, it doesn't matter if I did, because I can take it off. So I'm going to load up the nib with some oil, and then, so why am I going to the mix mat? Try again, Paul. Pick up the colour from there, and let's do some colour on there. Okay, so that's the light green. Pick up the oil again, and let's go for the sage green. Nice and subtle. Okay, and then finally, let's go for the rich dark forest green. Okay, right, let me just do a little test. So this row here is where I've gone pen to crayon. Then let me take a different nib. Okay. So now I'm going to, let's put some oil on the mix mat. Just a drizzle, don't flood it. You never ever get a drizzle, really. Okay, so let's load up the pen. So now this one is there. Let's go for the sage green. I mean, obviously I can mix all the colours together if I wanted a different shade of green. Then I could mix them together. And now let's go for the darker green. On there. So let me turn this over then and see what we end up with. It's the same. Well, I say it's the same. The bottom row with the little cross on it, that's where I went direct onto the nib to crayon. Okay. And then this one was where I mixed it on the mat. Okay. Now another option which I've often used with using the Perga colour pens, which will be back in really, really soon. They're on the water, as they say. Let's see if I take my water brush, and there's no water in it, and I can mix up my colour. A little bit harder to mix because there's no firmness to the brush. So let's have a look and see what this does. See, that works just as well. So you've got choices. Blending pen, water brushes without the water. It's entirely up to you. But I reckon, so I'm changing my mind now, I'm going to go for the mix mat. Okay. And let's bring that back into play. And I think what I'm going to do, let's see what happens if I mix these two colours together. Okay. So I'm going to sort of come up with a different colour, don't you? Let's see what this looks like. Oh. So I've come up with a different colour. I want to just have a look. Right, okay. Stop dithering and get on with it. I definitely need my glasses. So we're going to mix our colours up, and then we're going to start to colour. So I'm colouring in on the back of my parchment, like so. I'm just sort of picking up so that the leaves will have sort of like different colour elements to them. I'm just choosing different parts of the green, if you know what I mean. And then let it blend on the parchment. And once this is dried, I can leave this on here for weeks and weeks and weeks. But if you want to clean it off, then I'd say a little bit of Dorso oil on a tissue and then just wipe clean. And if you're using the water mix mat, then obviously you can just run it under the tap and clean it that way with the aqua pencils. So should we see what it looks like? So there we go. So we're now starting to build up our foliage as we go around, and we can combine both the pencils and the crayons together as well. So if we wanted to add a little bit more definition, then we could easily do that with a pencil as well. So what we're doing here, we're just sort of colouring in the larger type of areas. If I put that underneath, there we go. Let's do this. That's a lot better. Okay. So let's have a look. Let's put some more oil down. Let's put a big dollop. Dollop. Liquid isn't really a dollop, is it? But you know what I mean. So if you keep turning the nibs round as well, I'm not worried if I go over the lines because I have my safety net of the eraser pencil to rub it out. This is quite nice, isn't it? I quite like this. I not quite like it. I like it a lot. A lot, he says with his voice going high pitched for no particular reason. Oh dear. So for our new friends in the room, I'm guessing you're new because maybe you've seen us on Create and Craft and you've just bought the starter kit. If you go all the way back on our YouTube page to episode 1 of Groovi Tuesday, I spend a good few weeks playing with the contents of the starter kit. So you can go back and you can watch those. I mean, if you want to, you can start at 1 and try and catch up to episode 103 if you choose to. But maybe what you find in the first couple of episodes is what you sort of need to get going. So it's always there. So I love that you can get the control with the nibs, especially in the smaller areas, and just using the crayons in a I wouldn't say it's a different way. I'm still applying the colour, but as I say, normally I would tend to go for the pencils. But I thought, you know what, let's give the crayons a bit of an outing, because I think we established last week that many of you already had them in your stash, but never used them. Spoken like a true crafter. We always buy stuff, and then we get it home and you think, oh yeah, I'll have a go at that. And then you forget, and then you move on to the next thing, and then you forget that you've got it, and maybe you order it again, and then I'm not the only one, am I, that does that. I remember many moons ago, first time I ever went to the NEC to have a look round. It was amazing because there were so many different crafts and different companies. And back in the day, it could take you half an hour just to get from one end of an aisle to the other, because it used to be rammed. And sometimes you struggle to see the different demonstrators, or struggle to get onto a stand to have a look. But yeah, those were the days, as they say. So you'll also notice that I haven't even reloaded the crayons yet from that initial scribble on the mix mat. Yeah, not even loaded it up. So it just shows how far the crayons go. So it's just like the pencils as well, isn't it? Isn't it? He says with his posh South London accent. But this is just, even on this bit here, there's no skill to what I'm doing at all. I suppose in a way, what I've done so far, just from tracing out the plate, and the composition, that was probably the hardest bit, but it wasn't hard really, was it? Of just moving the sentiment around. So if you're brand new to Groovi, you can definitely achieve what we're doing here. Okay, so we're just going to mix it up a little bit more. And just carrying on with our colouring in. And I've gone over the edge there, but I'm not worried. But look how much colour is coming off of to mix that. See, now this is why it's a good idea to have a couple of blending pens, because this blending nib is now absolutely saturated. So I'm going to pop that one to one side, and what I'm going to do is, I've got a couple of other ones here. Let's try something different. So I'm going to use this one. Oh no, it had red on it. Oh well, I've got another. No, I didn't want to do that. Paul, what are you doing? Right, okay. That'll be a nice colour for something else. I think that's when we was playing with the red and the black last week, wasn't we? Wasn't we? Wasn't I? Let's get some clean nibs. And let's scribble down here. That green, I'm just going to put a little bit more on there. And then a little bit more here. And a little bit there. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring the colours together now. Start to colour in again. So it's definitely worthwhile having some extra nibs to sort of mix your colours up, and if it does get too flooded with the oil, then at least you can pop it to one side to dry while you carry on working. Okay. And I'm not putting any pressure on when I'm applying the colour. At all. Can't believe how quickly this has been done and how quickly time is flying. I think I heard on the radio today, I might be wrong, I have the radio on in the background in my office whilst I'm working, rather than the sort of traffic going past outside. And although it's on, I listen, but I don't listen, if you know what I mean. It's the same when I'm watching TV at home. I'm watching, but I'm not really watching. And I'm sure they said today was the official halfway through the year day. Halfway through the year? Seriously? How can that be? I suppose in a way, with just doing Christmas on TV recently, is a bit strange. All my sort of years and seasons are all over the place. Feels you'll be celebrating New Year now. Now that Christmas is done and dusted. Christmas is never done and dusted when it comes to crafting, is it? Okay, we're almost come all the way around. Doesn't take long at all. Really doesn't. And you know what? It's not a rush, is it? Also, Lisa says it's because the nights are now getting darker from the 29th of June. No. I've just got used to the nice, light, bright evening. I think they should just leave the clocks where they are. Controversial, I know. And there's probably a reason why it happens. But there's a question from Lindsay. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I hope everyone is okay. Very well, thank you. I hope you are too. Would you mind me asking, will Clarity ever bring out a magazine? We did investigate that many, many years ago about sort of bringing out a different sort of magazine that sort of would do stamping, stencils, dyes, Groovi. But when we looked into sort of the cost and the time involved, we'd have to sell thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of them in order to make it cost effective. But what we do is, as far as I know, we're one of the only companies around that do this. We have our clubs, our members clubs, and there's 3 different clubs now. We have the Stamp Club, we have the Stencil Club, we have the Groovi Club. And in a way, I suppose every month is like a magazine, because for your membership, which is £6 a month, I think it's £6 a month. I should know, shouldn't I? Sue will answer this. You can pay monthly for the 12-month period, because that's a year of the subscription, or you can pay monthly. So you could go for 1 club, 2 clubs, or 3 clubs. It's entirely up to you. And then every month, it's like a little mini Christmas or a birthday treat to yourself. Every month through the door will pop your club envelope, and it will be, so say for example, it's the Stamp Club. You'll receive a double-sided concertina with 2 step-by-step projects and an ingredients list, together with the product for that particular month, which is exclusive to club members. You also get a newsletter from Barb, letting you know what's been going on over the past month, what's coming up over the next month or coming months. And then as a club member, you'll then get, so if you're a gold club member, where it's 1 or 2 clubs, you'll get 10% off any online purchases, or if you come to our open days or our retreats. If you're a diamond club member, which is all 3 of them, then you get 15%. Now you can order online, you can ring up and place an order, whichever way suits you. And then twice a year, we have our half price club member sale. And we're just talking about half a year. The next one is very, very soon. Okay. And basically what that means is that just for club members, for a period of time, it's half price. You don't get any further discount, and there are certain exclusions, like stuff that we've recently released over the past month or 2 months, but it's definitely worthwhile looking into that. So in a way, I say we don't do a magazine, but we do, because when you collect all 12 installments of the clubs, you've got your own magazine. And for that price, to get the product and the double-sided project, then it's a winner, really. So what we're saying here, the clubs are very good, fab designs, and then there is the discount. Absolutely. Sue's popped her email on there. So if anyone wants to ask any questions, you can do that, because Sue looks after the clubs. Jane's saying the clubs are better than a magazine. Lindsay's saying, I'm already a member of the club, a member of the Groovi Club, and I do absolutely love anticipating what plate I will get. But if there were a mag with competitions, hints and tips, etc., etc. I know what you're saying, I really do. And back in the day, when I used to craft, I had subscriptions to about 12 different craft magazines for all different types of crafting. But I think the way in which the world has changed and evolved when it comes to sort of like printed matter, then it's possible that people adapt and evolve as well. So somebody is just trying to ring me because they don't realise it's Groovi Tuesday. But we've obviously got all of our online YouTube tutorials, the step-by-steps, which are all free. See, because if we did a magazine, then there'd obviously be a cost involved. So I say we did consider it a couple of years, well, quite a few years back, but it's not cheap to put a magazine together. But never say never. Who knows? Things change, don't they? So I'm not going to say no, we will never do one, because we may do in the future. But at this point in time, there are no plans for a magazine. So sorry. Okay, let's get back to some colouring in. So I hope that answered the question. What was that? What's that? Is that? No, it isn't Tina calling. Tina normally calls me on a Groovi Tuesday. It was one of my work colleagues. They're helping Dave close down one of the factories. So they're sort of over there in their old clothes, sort of loading stuff on the van and bringing it all over here for us to find a home for it. But Pete obviously forgot that it's Groovi Tuesday. So, hey ho, doesn't matter, does it? Right, so let's have a look at what we've done so far, or what I've done so far. So we've now definitely got some definition to that colour, to our frame. That one's in, I don't know if this sort of light limey citrusy green works well or not. I've just taken my stash of Indian Summer. So I think this will be way too, well, I don't know, it works. Sometimes other colours work better than others, don't they? See, that teal's quite nice, but you can often lose the colour. But mine's well loved, mine's falling out of the book. That's quite nice green. There's a really lovely, in each of the different companion papers, there's a beautiful colour palette of different colours. And I remember back in the day, sort of, so this is the Indian Summer one, where the colours have been picked out of the original designer paper and parchment range. And it always used to be hard to find something to complement the design, because, especially if you use your designer papers, because the colours were so sort of bespoke. So that's why we came up with the companion papers. But now, because there's 7 to choose from, it can take just as long now to find a paper, because you go, yeah, I like this one. No, I like that one. No, I like this one. In a way, there's too much of a choice. But you know what? It's better to have too much than not enough. And the companion papers, I just go to them every single time. So whether you decide to choose your backing paper first and then colour, because that's what I had to do with the designer papers. I'd have to choose a designer paper first and then colour in to match. So, but I'm not sure. But just for camera purposes, I think it helps show the colour. Okay. So, so let's have a look now. So, show. I've got to stop saying so. So on the on the back, obviously it is a lot brighter, and I know I have gone over the edges in some places, but I'm not going to worry about it at this stage, because I can do my tidying up in one go. So my next decision to make is what colour I want to do my rose. Okay, now I did that same thing today. When we used the rose and lattice plate in the previous episodes, and we used the pencils to colour in, and Jane gave us a top tip on using the purple pencil with a white pencil to create a really nice vibrant pink. And I was looking for it again this morning, and then it remembered again. I remembered this last week as well, that the card that I made we gave it away. So I'm thinking, where is it? And then the penny dropped. So we've got sort of some different choices. I'm going to stick with the Dorso crayons. Okay. And I think, see, I don't know what colour to go. All my roses in my garden are flowering at the moment. I've got pinks, I've got reds, I've got yellows, I've got oranges. I've got different shades, those beautiful sort of, you know, the orange roses where they have red coming into them. I always love that colour of rose. So I'm unsure on what colour to do that, because the last one was definitely pink. It was that lovely bright pink that Jane suggested. So I think on this one, I'm going to replicate the yellow with the tinge of orange into it. And we can do that perfectly with the Dorso crayons. Okay, so I'm going to put a big sign in front of me. Do not say so. Do not say so. That sounds like a Chinese saying, doesn't it? Mix Mat's coming back into play. I'm going to scribble out my yellow. Now, see, do I go orange straight away, or do I create my own orange with the yellow and red? Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Decision. I'm gonna play. I'm gonna try. I don't know what colours to go with. So I'm gonna do this. Okay, which is what I would do normally with the pencils. But I'm also gonna do this. See, to me, it's a lovely orange, but it's not the orange I sort of had in my head, if that makes sense. Where's my Dorso gone? There's my Dorso. Okay. Oil. Too much oil. Where's my practice piece? Let's practice first. Okay. So let's take this orange first and see what this one looks like. So it's a lovely orange. I know you can't really sort of see that on there. Let's pop white underneath here first. Okay. See, look, that's a lovely orange. Okay. But now let's take, I'm going to put that orange nib just there. And now I'm going to take a clean nib, a little bit of oil, a little bit of yellow, with a little bit of red. Okay. Oh, see, I prefer that orange. I know you can't really sort of see. Let me bring it up to the camera. Yeah, I like my mixed one. I've just seen all your messages. Do your own. I think that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so in order to do that, what I'm going to do though is I'm going to do it as if I was doing it with the pencils and see how it works. And the way that I would do it with the pencils is that I would put the yellow down first all over. Okay. So I've got choices. Because it is a larger area, I could actually put the crayon onto the rose and then spread it out that way. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to, and it doesn't matter if I go over, and then I'm going to load up, really load it up. And then, so what I'm doing now is I'm putting like the undercoat glasses, putting the undercoat down first by smoothing out the yellow. And you know what? Once I've done this, I might think, let's stick with yellow. I don't know. Still undecided. But that's okay, isn't it? It's good to be undecided when we're crafting sometimes. But look how far this has gone. And as I say, you could do this with the pencils as well as the crayons. So we're just smoothing out the pigment of the crayon, getting into every area. That we need to. See, I quite like this yellow now. Well, I say I quite like the yellow. The yellow's on the black. It's possible that when I put paper behind it, I may think, oh no, not what I want. So it's always, sometimes it's a good idea to experiment first. But with the crayons, it doesn't matter so much really, because I can go in and rub it all out. If I think, no, I want it to a pink rose instead, or not a yellow one. It's all about having choices, isn't it? And in a way, sort of seeing what works and what doesn't work. It was funny on TV on Sunday during Barb's 3 till 5 show. Barbara and Janice are like a double act, a comedy double act. They really are. I mean, you could probably hear me laughing off camera when Barbara used the fibres with the bauble stamp, the white fibres, and then changed the colour of them by using the Perga colour pens, or a felt tip pen, because then it gets absorbed into the fabric of the fibres. And then Janice said, oh, could you do the pencils on there as well? And Bob said, oh, don't know, let's give it a go. So the pencils worked perfectly on the fibres as well. But then it made me laugh when Janice said, oh, what about the Dorso oil? And Bob went, don't push it. It just cracked me up. There's certain things you can try live on air, and there's certain things you can't try live on air. Because if it goes, I suppose you can try it, and if it goes completely wrong, you can say, no, it doesn't work. I suppose it depends on how much. It's not a risk, is it? I mean, I don't know. It works both ways, doesn't it? And then Barb did that little funny dance because she didn't think the camera was on her. That was funny. The whole sort of 7 hours of TV from Thursday, Friday, and Sunday were absolutely fantastic. So they're a great team up there. They really, really are. It is just like an extension to the family. Right, okay. So I think I've smoothed this out now. So if I pop a piece of white card underneath, you won't sort of see, you can sort of see the lines, but it's definitely a more vibrant. And if I were to use this particular piece, isn't it funny? Well, it's not funny, it's obvious. The colour that you use behind it will change the depth of colour. See if I go for a more vibrant one, the rose, it definitely gets lost in those colourways. See, not so. See, that works quite well. That sort of sagey green, which is very similar to the colour of the Dorso crayons. So, okay, so let's now add in some red to see if I can get my lovely shade of orange that I want. So I'm going to take a clean nib. So the glasses back on, colour back into play. Mix my colour up. Right, let's give it a go. Ooh, where do I want to start? I'm going to start there. So I'm just going to put a little bit of red just down at the bottom, and then just start to blend it out. So I like having the lovely brightness of the orange, but then it was the yellow, wasn't it? Of the yellow, and then just sort of blending it out a little bit. I've just seen the time. Is that really the time? Oh no, I want to stay and play. Stay and play. Okay, should we have a look on this one? Yeah, see, I like that. It needs to blend out a little bit more. So let's see if I can just finish this one off. Just this one petal. So what I'm doing now, just working in a circular motion over the whole of the petal. And as I say, you can go in and add a little bit of depth with the pencils as well. Okay. Let's see what this looks like. There we go. That's definitely coming. I definitely prefer the yellow with the red on top. Okay. So that's what I think I'm going to carry on with next week. So I'm going to leave myself a little note now, because come next week, I think, what was I doing? So it was if you're going to walk away from a project, then it's definitely worth making a note. So rose equals yellow undercoat and red blend. And this is with the Dorso crayons on mix mat. Terrible writing. So that'll be my reminder for next week when I walk back into this room. What did I do last week? Rather than go back and watch it, see what I did. So once again, thank you for your company. I hope you've enjoyed it. Well, I hope that our new friends will come back and join us again next week. But don't forget, you can go back to our YouTube page and watch all of the previous episodes if you choose to. Thank you to the lovely Sue for popping up all the links and everything else. And as always, the design team for helping out with any questions that I probably have missed during the course of the hour. So just a reminder, as before we go, Thursday on Create and Craft at 11 and 3 is Tina with the Pergamano shows. Then at 7 o'clock on Friday evening, live on Facebook and YouTube, is A Moment of Clarity with Barb. So make sure you sign up to our emails, because an email will be going out. I think it's going out later today, stroke tomorrow. Stuart's working on that. And then on Monday, it's Back in the Shack with Barb. And then I will see you again on Tuesday. So as always, thank you so much for your company. And I'll see you next week. Take care now. Bye-bye.